The next one that I want to talk to you about is how to right-size your equipment for your business.
Oh, beautiful. Josh on the line. Josh, what's the name of your landscaping company?
A+ Lawn Care and Landscape.
No, Josh, you emailed me.
Yeah.
You said you had 2 or 3 questions, and I may have 2 or 3 answers. So let's see what we've got going on. What are we going to be talking about today?
All right, the first question I have for you is I'm curious where you have found most effective or where you found you get the most for your money in marketing.
That's a great question. Every area is different. So what you're finding in Iowa may not work in Minnesota. And for the people that are watching in the videos, if they're in North Carolina, Florida, Texas, there's going to be, each area seems to have its own unique personality when it comes to marketing. I put out a video on the different methods of marketing, and I got responses all over the board and for me personally, I love Home Advisor. I absolutely love it, and a lot of guys hate it. But I was in with Home Advisor way back when they were, Service Magic. Maybe they're called Service Magic. I don't even know what the name of them are now. It's either Service Magic or Home Advisor. I don't remember which it is right now. I pay between $18 and $50 per lead, and they have a refund policy. So if I get a bad lead, I know the short steps. I can go on my keyboard and I can hit 3 buttons, and I cut and paste the lead number, and I can get a refund on that lead. Now, they may have changed the policy, but a lot of guys out there are jumping up and down saying, it doesn't work, they suck. And that may be true for your area, especially for lawn care, because the price per lead for lawn care, now for landscaping it's great, because I pay, like I said, between $18 and $50, and I'll get between an $18 and a $50,000 lead for landscaping, where you're paying $10 to $15 for a lawn care lead, and that may end up being $1,000 over the course of a summer, or $500 over the course of a summer. My personal marketing plan is Home Advisor, Service Magic, whatever it is. There's another company out there that does the same thing. They're more local, and I use them just for demolition leads. I also advertise on Angie's List. I pay Angie's List a bucket full of money to optimize my listing, and I'm one of the top 20 contractors within my certain area or whatever. Now, Angie's List is changing that around. For lawn maintenance, I go with the freebies. Freebies are Craigslist. I'll refresh an ad on a daily basis with Craigslist. And I find that also helps with search engine optimization. And it's a weird thing, Josh, but search engine optimization and Craigslist go almost hand in hand. That's so powerful, where if you just type in lawn maintenance, I've had people that have absolutely no websites come up on Google's #1 page because they put so many Craigslist ads out that they've literally flooded the area for certain markets, and it's great. Facebook is another opportunity for you to do. You can do both paid advertising, you can do free advertising, and you can refine. This is the beauty about if you do Facebook ads and you want to limit it to a geographical area, you can actually refine the parameters to make sure you're not hitting people that live in condominiums or townhomes. You can hit single family homeowners with a medial income over whatever the parameters they give you. So there is, and I've never done Facebook advertising, but I've talked to enough people that have done it and have had a high rate of success to say that it's worth time for you guys out there to check into it. Flyers as well, Josh. Make sure you're flyered up and do a little research on flyers. Simpler the better. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be high gloss. It doesn't have to be a lot of these things that a lot of people are putting out there. In fact, I've interviewed people specifically on this topic more than once. Jonathan Potashnik, the lawn care millionaire, I talked at length with him. In fact, he made a 3-flyer video on it, and what I found was that the simpler the better. Greg, Geek to Freak Chisholm, he has a video where he just did a letter. He had a high rate of return, and I had the opportunity to go to a mastermind conference in Chicago, sit in a room full of companies that were all, they dwarfed me. There was one guy that did $50 million a year in business. Many of them did $15, $20 million a year in business. And what they found with their flyer design was the rate of return was much higher with a simple letter. Just a simple letter. It's as easy as that. So there's some good marketing tips for you.
Oh, for sure. Good thought. I've used Craigslist a little bit, and honestly, for it being free, I think I've gotten quite a few jobs out of it, actually.
You've used what? I missed that. I'm sorry, Josh.
I've used, I always refresh a Craigslist ad, and honestly, for it being free, it always pays off.
How could it not? Besides the few minutes of your time, just copy and paste. Create your Craigslist ad on a Word template or whatever, and then highlight the whole thing, copy and paste it. Maybe have 2, 3, 4 different types of Craigslist ads, so they're not all worded the same. Have different pictures, put them in there, but then you can always just refresh the Craigslist ad, and you can also refresh it and put new ones in there as well, so they're all a little different. That'll help you with your search engine optimization, and create a Facebook page for your business as well. That's a freebie, and it's like having a website, but not quite as well, not quite as official.
And the next one that I want to talk to you about is how to right-size your equipment for your business.
Oh, beautiful question. What are you thinking?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I've actually, sometimes, like in the past, I think I've had too much equipment for my business, and now I'm kind of thinking it's about right, and I don't know, I want to hear what you have to say about it.
So when you say right size, immediately I start thinking landscaping, hardscaping, excavating, demolition. Are you more down the lines of lawn maintenance, or do you want to go from lawn maintenance into those categories?
We do a little bit of lawn care, obviously, on a regular basis, but for sure we do different projects weekly, like hardscaping jobs.
Right.
Well, probably more for, obviously the lawn care setup, and then, what's a good landscaping setup, for the size of certain businesses.
Okay, that's great. That's what I wanted to make sure that I was on the right path with my answer. For hardscaping, landscaping, those sort of things, if I was going to start all over again, the first piece of equipment I would buy would be a skid loader. A skid loader has enough different attachments that it can be universal. You can get a set of forks on it. Of course, you'll have a bucket. You can also get a backhoe attachment. I don't know how well that would work on a skid loader. I've never personally used one. My next piece of equipment would be a mini excavator. Okay, not the big 18,000 pound, 36,000 or 40,000 pound excavators, unless I had a contract with a home builder to start digging basements for them. Then I would go into at least the minimum 18,000 pound excavator up to a 36,000 pound excavator. When you get over 36,000 pounds, you're getting more into the larger commercial sites for excavators, and you want to be a little careful because a lot of times they use the same power plant. They just put a bigger frame around it, so the machine feels like a bigger machine, but it doesn't have any more power to actually get you around. And you really need a good balance of a power to weight ratio in an excavator, because I'll tell you straight up, that boom, when you're digging, you're going to get yourself in some hairy situations. I've done it. My operators have done it. And there's a lot of times, I did it this summer, there's a lot of times when you need every ounce of power that machine needs to get yourself out of there. And if you've got a weak machine, you have less likelihood of getting out of there safely and securely. But to get back very specifically, if we're going to be looking at a Bobcat, I wouldn't go with your absolute largest or your absolute smallest. They make mid-sized machines that function just fine. And what you want to look at is a mid-sized machine, and you also want to look at how the boom arms come up. If they come straight up, you're going to have a difficult time loading dump trucks. But if they come up and move out over the machine, then you're going to be able to get over the top of a dump truck. So if a dump truck's sitting there and the Bobcat comes up and the boom arms move straight up, you got to crawl right up there, and a lot of times you dump the dirt right on your own head. But if that arms will move up, and as they moving up, they move forward, it allows you to get the dirt away from you to dump inside that dump truck. I would not go with one of those walk-behind units, Josh. They're just too small, too inefficient for getting into larger hardscaping projects. You can easily rent that stuff. And this is where I'm going with this. And if you don't know the exact make and model of the equipment that you want to choose, you have an idea, rent it. Rent it, try it out.